What's up, YouTube? The long-awaited part 4 is here. Take a look. Thanks. Alright guys, I'm going to start with siliconing my glass lids in place. I screwed up here when I was taking my measurements and didn't take into account the round part of the exoteras and had to do a little dremeling, and the glass doesn't fit as great as I want it to. So I've just decided I'm going to go ahead and silicone it in place around the edges. I'll still have the slight vent down the middle, and hopefully that will keep any fruit flies from escaping. I'm going to go ahead and get that beaded down and let it set for a little bit, and then I'm going to get started on the rest of the build. So stay tuned. Alright, so I have gotten all my supplies that I think I'm going to need. Drainage layer, weed guard, substrate, sphagnum moss, a little bit of leaf litter. I'll probably pull some out of their old tank. I'm going to shop vac it. Got the glass silicone down in place. Should have enough room to run an piece of airline tubing down to the PVC pipe that I'd left to do any drainage that I need to. So I'm just going to get down to it. I'm going to start by shop vacuuming out any debris or dust that's sitting inside the bottom of the tank. We're going to go from there. So I'm not going to do the vacuuming on camera just because it'll be loud and everybody knows how to use a shop vac. But stay tuned. Alright, so before I put down the drainage layer, I want to go ahead and make sure my weed guard's going to fit. Do any trimming or cutting that I need to. It looks pretty close as is. I'm going to take a few inches off this end and probably snip the corner to kind of fit around the PVC pipe here in the back, but it's pretty close to what I need it to be, so that's good. So go ahead and pour the drainage layer in. It's dusty, it's probably going to make a mess, but I don't really know of a better way to do it. And again, this is all products from the biodude.com. He's not a sponsor or anything, but just a really great guy and the first place I go to whenever I have questions. So check out his website, biodude.com. Again, great guy. So I have 3 bags of this. Probably put 2 down to start. It's pretty dusty. Try not to bump the stand I have the camera sitting on. Hopefully y'all are getting a decent look at this, but pretty straightforward. Dump drainage layer in, level it out. Before I decide if I'm going to use a 3rd bag or not, which I'm probably not, just by looking at this. I like to have a nice thick drainage layer. Dusty. So that looks pretty even. They have a good 2 inches of drainage layer down. So I'm going to get a pair of scissors and get the weed cloth trimmed, and we'll pick it back up from there. Took a little notch out to try and fit over my drainage pipe in the back corner, and then I'll trim the front once I get this set in place. Kind of tricky. It because of the overhang of the background back here, but we'll make it work. So the main thing is you just want to keep your substrate out of any water. And I actually might not even trim this. I might just fold it down here in the front. It's not enough to be worried about saving it anyway. So I'm going to now dump in some substrate. I had a couple bags open already. I have 2 more unopened bags, about a bag and a half probably, and then I have 2 bags that are unopened. Some of it's from Genesis Exotics, which dissolved and became the biodude.com, but it should still be the same mix. Effectively all biodude.com now. I probably should have wet some of this down first before I started putting it in here, but that's okay. We'll just make sure I moisten it real good once I get it in place. It's a little bit easier to work with when it's dry too. So before I pop open another bag, isopods. Isopod culture, springtails, get all that scraped out and out of there. And from time to time I'll probably reseed the Vivarium with more isopods and springtails just to make sure there's plenty in there. I'm going to go ahead and wet this down pretty good. Probably should have done that to begin with, but that's okay. So let's get some more substrate. Looks to be about the right amount. A little short here in the back. I'll probably add another bag. I like to slope mine up to the back, just like you're doing an aquarium. Typically you want your gravel to get taller as you get to the back of the enclosure or aquarium. Gravel, sand, whatever type of substrate you're using. And please don't take any of this as the word of an expert. I'm still very new to the hobby. It's kind of worked for me so far. Alright, looking pretty good so far. I'm going to make sure I have enough soil for my planter pots up top. Yeah, these are pretty close to the top of the glass. I don't really plan to put something that's going to grow tall in them, but more like a vining plant that will hang down and hopefully take over the background. So. This little hole, I'm going to put something in there. Got a fifth of the bag left, which isn't really worth saving. I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in here. That way it's there if I need to move it around somewhere. And again, I'll go ahead and, since I didn't moisten this in a bucket or anything before I put it in here, which I know most people do, but I am doing this inside and it gets to be a little bit of a mess. And it is time I invest in a better spray bottle. So far this is what I'm looking at. Pretty happy with that so far. Gonna start dropping some plants in here in a minute. Going to clean my hands off a little bit and see about transferring the frogs over to the little holding container I have shortly as well. So stay tuned and we'll pick it back up. Because it was so long, I split it into 2 parts. Please check out part 5. Thanks.